Yo, what is going on, yo?
What is going on?
We're gonna kind of keep this short, but this is like one of the videos that I've been meaning to do because, you know what I'm saying, a buddy of mine was asking me about the difference between that, you know what I'm saying, those, I mean, you're like, okay, because he called me up about it. He was like, yeah, he said, yeah, I still like those old NESs, the beginning, they call them like the OG NES versions of stuff like that. And I wanted to kind of like break this down a little bit of what I use, you know, and me and my family use it at the same time, of like what NESs that we have. And don't get me wrong, I mean, of course,
you love to collect things. You
yes. Do. To break that down, that is, we love the classic game systems. We do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But okay, before we even get any further, thank you guys for watching. Please, if you're the first time to the channel, please like and subscribe to the channel. And messing around with the old school systems and people that sits up there and talk about the, you know, saying you have these new remake systems. You do. The NESs and stuff like that.
And people think they're not the classic. They think
they want that original.
They want that original. But a lot of times, what do you think you're most in a struggle with when you get those original systems?
The regular person using the NES, the first NES, you have to go ahead, you have to take it, you have to blow into it, you have to go ahead and you know what I'm saying, you have to pop that thing, and now, you know what I'm saying, okay, and then all of a sudden you push it in, and when you first put that game up in there, you push it, you take that Nintendo, you're gonna have a hard time trying to put it on in some cases.
It is a straight process. Oh, and not to mention cleaning it in between, or
the way we have our stuff. I don't even use the HDMI. I mean, seriously, I just don't. Now we have what we use, right? What we use is the hyperkin, remake of the NES. I'm not going to break it down on what type it is, but I do have, if you guys actually looking for one, I will leave a link in the description. It's okay, unless you got the person that's just like tech savvy, or you know a person that could probably like recap Nintendos or whatever, to where that you have to go ahead and take out the lockout chips. You got to go ahead and change. Okay, why go through that whole struggle when, you know what I'm saying, of course that, and even though you do that, sometimes you still have a little bit of a struggle pushing that in it. And I think that was the reason why back in the day, and this is that they did the other Nintendo to where it was like a top loader, because it was like more easier for it to come out. But there's a difference with that one. With that one, you cannot even, you have to use an RF switch. You do. You can't use a AV cable and everything for that other Nintendo.
And how often do you really run across those parts? For us, we love the hunt, we love and everything else, but also too, we do like the top loader, just like you said,
it's so much easier.
You can very easily just play the games or whatever, but at the same time have the original systems as bragging rights.
And exactly,
as collector pieces.
That's the way I look at them. To me, I like it because I like the collection. But when they first came out, started making these remakes and stuff like that, at first there was me. I was the person that I was a little skeptical about it. You know what I'm saying, it ain't original. But after a while, after jumping on it and getting one, it's just been so much easier to play my games. And this is that, and we take time, we clean them, and nobody feels like going through the whole and everything. And there's been times with the old console that I had, I was having problems to where I plug it up to these new HDMI TVs, and it just looked funny and stuff like that. But once I go ahead and I grab those particular ones, I mean, it's just way better. And I mean, even the cheaper ones, they got the retro ones to where that, and I know that don't get me wrong, those controllers on the retro ones are whack, but you can use your controller, and this is, and you can actually use any controller. You can take it back to NES and NES, but I like these newer controllers that they remade. It's good for, I love the originals, don't get me wrong, because I love retro, but I like the way that it works. It's really good. They're solid. They're really good, great controllers. Now those retro ones, the one with the 4 buttons, yeah, I'm not
I
really
tell you
cool
what,
with
those are the more like the beginner ones. Let's see how this responds.
Yeah.
And they just got better over time.
Yeah.
Just like these mini systems, they got better over time.
Mm-hmm. And
I think that's what it is. You gotta be patient with it.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
And those wireless ones, I love. Just having an NES controller wireless is off the chain, yo. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. And it's just you have
remember when you were a kid and you could only be like so far away.
Yeah.
And don't let somebody walk by.
Oh man.
Don't let somebody walk by and then
clicks out.
And then I'm telling you, you're not friends for like 3 weeks.
Now, for you guys that does emulation and like the games with all the games on them, I have nothing against that. That's still cool. That's still cool because because you have all the games and it's just more easy. A lot of people, they feel like just going with the emulation route, it's okay.
Some
Ain't
of
nothing
these
wrong
games
with them.
you can't even afford because the prices are so high.
I totally understand.
But
like
just having that physical for most of the games,
we're gonna go out there.
It's kind of cool.
If you cool's gonna go out there and find like a little Samsung for like what, I don't know. I'm not gonna even think of a price. It's that bad.
Yeah.
It's that bad. Who's gonna go out there and try to find that? I mean, I was looking up a game called Farah. If you guys heard that. This is a rare NES game. I've been looking for it, and I was even trying to find like maybe like a reproduction or something like that just to get the cartridge. I wanted the cartridge. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find. I'm probably gonna have to just, you know what I'm saying, just count my ducats and just say forget it. I'm just gonna go ahead and pay for the game and get it. But those are games like that's kind of like hard to find that you really want to that a person really play. And I'm not a person that I love collecting, but I also like playing the games. There's a difference.
Yes.
There's the collectors, and then there's people that like play. I love playing these games. I love popping that game in and playing it. And don't get me wrong, I like the emulation too. It's much more easier. It's much more easier when you play those games. But with these newer systems that these people actually take time, they were fans of this whole nostalgia and actually sit up there and basically remake these systems and consoles. Even though they may be cheap looking, they kind of like fizz, but some of these consoles, they still work just as good. I got the Duck Hunt and I use it for the Zapper. And what's crazy about it, what's crazy about it, there's one part that I actually used, and I had the multi plug for the NES that was ready for the NES, and I was actually able to plug that in and play the games wirelessly with wireless at the same time. So you can still use it, and even though the fact is that when I plugged it in, I had a problem. They say it was hitting the power button or whatever, but it still came on, still worked, and I can actually play those 4-player games like Nightmare on Elm Street, and they're sitting there tomorrow. They look good, and you can still sit it next to your NES and have it as trophies. I'll call my systems my trophies. That's what I call them.
Awesome.
Now, and if I know, and when I know how you is when it comes down to like getting frustrated over something like that, just to think, or just or just to think, you actually sitting up there trying to put that game up in there, trying to blow on that cartridge, try to pop it up in there, and there's plenty of times that you probably had hard time, and just by you being still and being new to seeing the retro stuff and being able as growing as a retro fan, just the fact is just having a hard time. And if you guys see our other videos, we actually have like the Atari remake and stuff, and we had the original console. We had the original one, but to see these games being remade on these systems, I think it's awesome. I am not gonna sit up there and basically down the new style of consoles that they have when they remake these consoles. I seriously, if they made a Dreamcast remake and you can actually use them to play your game, please, I am all about that, because the fact is we can actually, this stuff works, it's good, and there's new parts too.
I tell you what, it allows people to be more open-minded to the old school games and actually going out to the retro video game stores and
pick up those games
and supporting them to keep the retro alive and everything else, and be able to brag to your friends, and especially when they don't know, well, let's just try it, and then all of a sudden you end up having more fun, and you set aside the more newer console newer consoles out there, and you take it back a little bit, so you're able to have the best of both worlds.
We
so
do.
so it's awesome. And on top of those, for those parents who grew up with that, you can actually, it's easier to teach your kids.
And that's
or go back to being a kid again.
Yep.
If you know.
It's
So
awesome. Amazing.
So it's the best of both worlds.
For the collectors out there
Yeah.
that has those Nintendos that maybe not be tech savvy but still had an old Nintendo, want to get back to that nostalgia, want to get back to where they, and all of a sudden you still be like, damn man, I can't stand how this Nintendo work, or you have to listen, you don't have to change those parts if you don't want to set them. Get those newer type of systems that are remake, set it next to that Nintendo, still show that same love. Because here's the thing, when you have that kid, you got a kid and you want, you know what I'm saying, you want to let your kids play, they're not gonna have no time. Everything's quick for them. They don't have no time to be sitting up there trying to blow out cartridges, trying to pop them up in there.
So
they don't have no time. They want to pop the stuff up in there and get ready to go. That's just how they see us. We had a little patience. We had to make that game work because we had nothing else.
Yes.
So it's just like it's only what we had. So
then on top of that, they look at the controller like A and B.
Yeah, only a couple
up,
of buttons.
down. Okay, where's the analog on
Yeah,
here?
it's called It's called the challenge.
Where's the right trigger, left? Wait, what do I do here? They get confused. It's so much simpler, but they don't know what to do.
It's called the challenge. Know that these newer systems that they have and they remake, they're pretty good. They're good to go. Right, if you just got a cheaper one and you didn't pay that much money for it, get the original controller or get that wireless controller. We ain't gonna hold you up too much longer, but we just wanted to kind of like just break that down and just kind of chat with y'all about that. I hope you guys liked the video. All right, you guys, from Gamer to Gamer.
Thanks
Thanks for watching.